Hi and welcome everyone, it's Lavender Sky Panther. It's Friday, April 21st, 2023, and I'm here at a literal roadside reading today. I'm filming this from inside a car while I wait to help others for quite a while, so I thought let me turn this into a reading opportunity and share it with you and see what we uncover for all of us today. Hopefully there's something in here that just, uplifts you or brings something good to your life or inspires you to look into other things further. That being said, I usually offer 3 groups to choose from, and if you've seen any of my prior readings, you know that I tend to cross-reference and jump across all 3 piles sometimes. That's just how I like to work it. So if you want and are pressed for time, just stick with your group, stay with your group as a little joke, so to speak, or stay on for more. Okay, and I also use bonus cards usually at the end if I can do it. This time I'm going to put the bonus cards up front, and I'm doing that because I'm tight on space here. It's kind of hard to navigate in this little car space, so it's just going to make it easier if I do the bonus cards first, and then I'm just going to kind of give a little quick overview on them, and then we'll get into more detail on your other cards that are selected for each group. So starting off, you can choose for group 1, we'll call it. There's a gorgeous, I can't get quite the right lighting on it, gorgeous Lemurian Quartz, an equally exquisite forest quartz back here, and then we've got this gorgeous green agate, seafoam green in color. Now the first 2 quartz pieces, I'll see if I can get better lighting on it in a minute because they really are beautiful. They have such a powerful, I just want to say it's just as clear, clean, and singing quality to them. And those 2 came from sacredgemstone.com. Kelly over there has just some gorgeous crystals if you want to take a look around there on that website. All right, so let's get into the bonus cards here. I do have my little sassafras root pointer here if I need it today. Did bring that with me. So let's get to group 1. And we have a fairy tarot card, and we're going to have a daily crystal guidance card. So let's just look at them both at a glance, and here they are. So you have 2 of autumn. And I'm just going to kind of pan down. Look at that gorgeous fairy. All right. And this message is, bring fun into everything you do, juggling multiple priorities or jobs, an exceptional talent for multitasking. And your gemstone of the day, in addition to your pile or your group selection, is sunstone. Take pleasure in the things you do. So that's a clear, bringing fun, bringing pleasure in all you do, whether you're multitasking or not. Okay, that's a pretty clear message. All right, now we'll get to group 2. Again, you've got that gorgeous forest quartz, and we're going to spread them both out at the same time. This is going to be a little tricky for me, so bear with me. Just get in the groove here in this little tray. Okay, hang on. Not sitting right, but it's okay. All right. From the Fairy Tarot deck, you have 4 of Winter. It's a beautiful card there. And your message is, set aside your concerns for now. You can make a decision later. Solutions that come from meditation, the need for more sleep, or vacation. And your crystal or gem of the day, in addition to your selection of that gorgeous forest quartz, is Angel Aura Quartz. Lighten up. Okay. What's nice about this is that it's got a very wintry, kind of spring and winter mixed in kind of crystal energy there. And you've got the snow and all of that. Actually, looking at this, your selected group gemstone should have been this first one, the Lemurian Quartz. It kind of looks like that snowdrift and some of that crystal energy. But anyway, maybe you want to select, maybe that's a hint to also stay and listen for group 1's reading coming up. All right, so that's a very nice and also consistent association on those cards. Now let's get to group 3. We're going to flip both over at the same time. All right, let's see what you've got. You've got 9 of Autumn. Looks like a type, I forget the name of that instrument. It's like a lyre, but it's called something else. Reward yourself for all your hard work, being happily and successfully self-employed, cherishing your time alone. And then your gemstone, in addition to your gorgeous seafoam green agate there, is this one. You have fluorite. Find peace within. Okay, and that's kind of very harmonious in the color range. Look at, you've got gorgeous greens and purples, and also in this card too. So all of these bonus cards are very interconnected. So again, reward yourself for all your hard work. You know, cherish your time alone. Find something that you love to do, whether it's creating music or drawing or reading or just resting and relaxing and meditating, and find that peace within. Okay, now we're going to get to the actual selected. Hang on, sorry, I'm trying to get this all together, find the right pile. Now we're going to get into the reading. So if you chose number 1, here we go. And these are the cards. So give me a moment to set them up and see how we want to do this. Okay, here we go. You're going to have a Fairy Tarot card. You're going to have a Mystical Shaman Oracle deck and the Sacred Forest Oracle deck. Give me a moment here, and then I'll focus in on everything. I'm going to push these up a little bit if I can. Okay. All right, here we go. And you're also going to have an inspiration card. So we'll get into all of this. It'll make sense in a second. Bear with me. Okay. Actually, I'll put that there. Okay, let's get into this. All right. So first up, let's look at this other Fairy Tarot card. Okay. You have 3 of Autumn. Follow your passion when it comes to your career. Be the best at what you do. Being compensated for your creative talents. So here we've got this magical little fairy doing and crafting something very delicate, but you can see the intent, the focus is just intense on this little guy. And oh, I love the little acorn detail. It's catching me at the top of his hat. But anyway, look at the amount of focus and determination is just incredible. And this one is crafting, you know, kind of like above and beyond. So instead of being the star at what he's doing, I'm assuming it's a he, you know, he's really knocking it out of the park with all of these stars. Look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just goes on and on. This trail of stars going up through the center of the card and off the page, really. So there's no limit to the amount of dedication and creative energy that can come out. It's just like a never-ending source, and just beautiful. And it's a reminder that when you are lost in what you love, really focused on it, you know, there's no space, there's no time, there's just this magical energy. Okay. I'm going to move through these, and then we'll tie things together if they want to be tied together. Then we have, for the Mystical Shaman Oracle deck, we have number 25, which is also number 7. And we have this figure sitting atop this mountain. And the card is called the Holy Mountain. Okay, we're going to look at more cards and then talk about this all. Then we've got from the Sacred Forest Oracle deck, Bee Spirit Prosperity. The gorgeous fairy sitting atop a bee. And actually that looks like a honey drop, or could be some type of, you know, what's the word? I'm trying to think of it. Something coming from, like perfumed oil coming from the flower itself. But it almost looks like a ring, like a wedding ring, engagement ring with a sparkle on it. Anyway, got a beautiful scene here in number 5. Those look like tiger lilies, perhaps, or some type of lily. And we have the otter. Now, this is a river type otter opposed to a sea otter, which they're both built very differently. And what calls my attention here is there's a feature of them, which I only learned recently, is that the top of their head is shaped flat so that they're more aerodynamic in the water, you know, as the water streams over them. So let me take a moment to look at all of these together and see what messages want to come through, and if they just want to remain individual, or if there wants to be a tie-in together. So hold on one second. And then you have your extra little message here is lightness. So that I would combine with the playfulness, maybe of the otter, maybe it wants to go down there. Okay, and also with the bee. So even though the bee appears to be heavy, we all know there's such a lightness to the bee as they fly from flower to flower. Okay, so let me just come back once more to get centered on this message. Follow your passion when it comes to your career. Be the best at what you do, being compensated for your creative talents. Well, I guess that might be a message ringing true for somebody, just as a reminder that a lot of us, especially if you're here on this channel, we give, and we give freely, and we give with all of our heart, and it's not usually about the money. But we do live in a 3D world where it is required. So there's no harm, no foul, no shame at all. It's just a form of energy that's needed. So there's an energy exchange that we can also obviously trade with energy exchanges. Healing energy can be something that you can't even put a price tag on. We all know that. So it's just a reminder that if there's a way to get compensation, or if people are offering it, gratefully accept it with a joyful heart and know that yes, you deserve it. Okay. Now, the Holy Mountain, I think we'll focus on the other part of this message, which is follow your passion. And I'm not really concerned about career, okay? Or, just being the best at what you do is more what I want to focus on, and following your passion. Now, that, just in a little very cursory way, can relate into the Holy Mountain, that when you are tapped into that inner fire, that inner glow, like we've got this, you could look at it as a huge orb atop the mountain. When you've got that, that will lead you to the greatest heights and effortlessly. So it looks like this little figure just kind of suddenly appeared there, or just, floated up there on the top. It doesn't look like that figure toiled and climbed with all this harnessing gear and all of that. That little being just like showed up, and it looks like he's just in a, he or she is in a um, meditation pose, right? So it's just like that person just descended onto that peak, or ascended very easily, or just appeared there, with no effort whatsoever. And that is tied into such the ultimate connectedness, that literally, if you close your eyes and you imagine yourself in your happiest state, doing, whatever you love to do at its top star level, you really could just appear anywhere, do anything, climb any mountain, so to speak. I do want to read something from the Holy Mountain book. The For Them Holy Mountain card from the Mystical Shaman Oracle book. Give me 1 second to get there. What do we have? Okay, I just want to read in this one. There is, of course, they have the essence, the invitation, and the medicine. So in this case, I want to read what's called the medicine for this card. When the Holy Mountain shows up, it is time to be active. Do not let your doubts deter you and keep you bound. This is time to leap over challenges and to remember that from the top of the mountain there are no obstacles, only beauty and an unobstructed view of the entire earth. And I don't know if you've been to the top of a mountain, or even just near, top of a lower range of whatever the highest peak in the area is, so that it feels like the top of the mountain. I've only done that a couple times in my life, and I got to tell you, it's an unforgettable experience. And it's funny they say there are no obstacles when you're at the very top looking around. Well, I came across one, not so much an obstacle, but a challenge. I was so lit up when I got off. Of course, I didn't hike up. I'll make that clear. I didn't go up with hiking equipment, but I did go up with some kind of gondola or train. I don't even remember what it was. But the point is, it was something easy. It dropped me off. I could take in the view and then get back on transport and go down. But my point is, it happened to be, I was grateful. I'm so grateful. It happened to be in Switzerland once in my life, decades ago. And I was at the mountaintop, and I just remember when I got off of the train, whatever it was, I was so excited to go take in at being at the top of this mountain. And I started running. I didn't even think. I just started running, for the top where I could look over the edge and take it all in. And it was extremely high altitude. And so immediately my chest hurt, like, blazing like fire. I couldn't breathe, and I was like incapacitated for a while. And I stooped, doubled over, going, trying to get air. And I'm like, oh my God, of course, what an idiot. It's, thinner air, less oxygen, whatever. What am I doing? But it was too late. I was just like, looking before I was leaping. And but I didn't care. I was just so excited at the overwhelming euphoria and view. That really is, you do get a feeling like you cannot be higher up and more connected to spirit, to great spirit, to God, to whatever, the whole universe. And so it was just a funny moment, but it did remind me, when I was up there on that mountaintop, it was all of this crystal energy. It was glacier fields. There were quartz, there were stones with quartz in them on the ground, in the sand. And it was just one of those moments. So if you haven't had an opportunity to ever go to a mountaintop, I would absolutely put that on your list to do it. okay, for that experience. However, as we know, you can also be anywhere on this planet, you know, even in the water, wherever you are, and you can just close your eyes in that meditative pose and transport yourself anywhere in your imagination, you know, in the world, and still experience it pretty deeply. Okay. So in that case, there are no obstacles when you do it that way. All right. We're going to move on to Be Spirit Prosperity. Kind of ties into the card above too. When you're, you know, best at what you do, you know you deserve it. You get the compensation for your creative talents, which could be, let's just face it, it might be monetary, or it just might be some other exchange. Maybe you've done something for somebody and they can't really give you any money in exchange, but they can give you this whole jar of like natural organic honey, you know, or they can just give you what they have from the heart, right? And there's no more feeling of being prosperous than when you can either give to someone something that you love, or something you just believe they'll love, and vice versa, you know. And again, it doesn't need to even be about the money. It can be a flower, it can be a smile or a hug. It can just, you know, be a sincere expression of, gosh, I just wish you the best. I truly do. And that's enough to uplift and make things lighter, right? And I love that this is also number 5. If that means anything to anyone, it's about change. But I love that it's Be Spirit with 2 E's. Obviously, we know for the actual B. But I like that you could also read it without 1 E and just say Be Spirit. And when you just be spirit and show up in a room and shine, you know, there's no greater prosperity than that. You feel it. There's, you know, there's no time, there's no space, there's no such thing as money. You know, there's just only love, and you get down to the essence of what we're really here for and what all of life force is made of. Okay, and that's nothing material. That's something just that can't even be described. Okay, now when we get to the otter, I did talk about just the characteristic. It's funny, you know, how the otter just comes equipped with everything it needs. It's very versatile. Obviously, it operates swimmingly, pun absolutely intended, in river and water. Also operates really well on land. It's a mammal, and so very adaptable, you know, constantly in motion. Playfulness absolutely is there. And so those are just some things maybe that, you know, jump out at you, maybe to be a little more playful if you need it, or, you know, just become more versatile at things, be open to trying new things and staying, you know, stepping out of the comfort zone a bit, exploring a lot of possibilities and skill sets, you know, trying new things, and not worrying about it, not sweating the small stuff, that type of thing. Okay. All right, now we're going to finish off. Hang on, I'm having an avalanche of cards. And this is, again, a makeshift operation today. All right, and that just, you know, further weaves into lightness. You know, I think everything about this reading talks about lightness, to the point that, you know, your sparkles, your star energies are flying up, but also connected down into the ground. You know, same thing here. You can be at the top of the highest pinnacle and peak, but it's also you're grounded still as you touch the sky. And the river otter, you know, can be in the water, the land, grounded, or totally floating to feel completely weightless, you know, as if very airy and light. And then you have the bee spirit, obviously flying light, the colors, the yellows like sunshine and golden dewdrops, just absolutely beautiful. So that's all I'm getting for right now, group 1. I hope something in there rang some bells for you, and otherwise, you know, bring some joy to your day. And I wish you all well, and happy Friday. At least that's where I'm at. May you have a beautiful Friday, magical Friday energy. All right, now let's go to group 2, if I can get this together. Group 2, bear with me. I am working from this tight quarters here, so let me see if I can get this together. So let me set up. Give me a moment to set up here. Okay. All right, we're going to have, while I'm setting up, you're going to have the Fairy Tarot, the Mystical Shaman Oracle deck, the Sacred Forest Oracle deck, the Animal Spirit deck, and you're going to have an extra little inspirational message from the Heart and Soul pile, whatever that is, deck. And you have Peace. We'll just start in reverse. You've got Peace, and we've had this come up quite a lot in other readings. Princess of Summer, gentle, sensitive, kind, and experienced. And just a gorgeous card here. And the message is a new relationship or emotional experience, invitations to social events, a compassionate friend you can share your concerns with. All right, then you also have The Ghost Dance, number 22. It's a master number, also number 4. And I'm going to be reading from the book a little bit on that in a second. All right, you also have Willow Spirit. Flexibility. Hang on. There we go. Flexibility. 43 or 7. I believe that's a 43. It also might be a 48, which if that's the case, it would be a 12 or a 3. All right, then we have Mouse. And as we said, you have Peace. I'm going to put this back up here. And as a reminder, you have selected the Forest Quartz. So let me put that over here. Okay. All right, so let's look at this again. A new relationship or emotional experience, invitation to social events, a compassionate friend you can share your concerns with. But you know what? I think I'm going to focus more on this card, on the aspects of gentle, sensitive, kind, and experienced. Okay? Just because I'm connecting that more with the animal spirit. That, you know, we look at mice, these little, especially these little field mice, as just being kind of sensitive. I would say kind, you know, obviously if we compare it to other rodents like a rat, I would say the field mouse looks even cute and kind. This gentle, you know, perhaps, and also with the card, a little more peaceful, even though they kind of run around a lot. Apparently they get 12 hours of sleep in a day. I had to look that up. Even though they're like, seem to be on the go, they do a lot of like shorter naps. So that's a fun fact. Maybe that's a little bit of a sign to someone to make sure you get enough rest, whether it's 12 hours, 8 hours, 4 hours, just make sure it's a good, solid, sound rest that counts. And in that, you know, when you're resting, this just kind of reminds me also of a dream state, like if a mouse, you know, we're sleeping, kind of dreaming, that you have these beautiful colors, you know, kind of looks like rain raining down in the mix. So that mouse seems absolutely happy and at peace. And that's just the overwhelming feeling that I'm getting from those cards. Now, let's look at the ghost, what is this? The Ghost Dance card. Right away, to me, that ties in with your crystal, the forest crystal, because in the forest crystal does have aspects of connecting in with the ancestors. And so, you know, this is the 22 or the number 4. So let's look from the book here. And before I go to the book, I am drawn by that tapestry or that weaving on her shoulder. And it said that, you know, that all of life and all of us here with all of our energies create this tapestry. And it's a never-ending tapestry. And depending on all of the timelines, we've got actual lines, sorry about the focus, actual lines there on the patterning, that all of us create with all of our multiple timelines, just an endless story. And it's beautiful. And each thread is, you know, a life, and it just keeps weaving in and interweaving with other stories of all of us on this planet. And we become together, we start to mesh in together and make this one beautiful product, you know, this what I want to say, this ever-expanding, infinite, beautiful, colorful tapestry. Okay, so anyway, let's look at the Ghost Dance from the book. What comes to my mind before I get there is right away is the movie Hidalgo. Viggo Mortensen starred in that one. You might want to look at that movie if you don't know it, and just because there is a ghost dance scene in that movie, and very powerful, moving ghost scene and flashes to past memories in that one. So give me 1 second here and I'll get to it. Okay, in this book, the Mystical Shaman Oracle deck, they break it down into messages coming. They break it down as the essence, the invitation, and the medicine. In this one, I'm going to read from the essence, okay? So for the Ghost Dance of the American Plains Indians united the spirits of the living with those of the ancestors to bring peace to the world. When the ancestors are honored, they bring harmony to us. When we hold them responsible for all that is wrong with us today, they haunt us. Honor the spirits of the ancestors and receive their lessons and gifts. This includes honoring your own past lives. Now, what's interesting is many things. You know, we've got that of a way of bringing peace to the earth, and you have the peace card. Also, the crystals themselves. There are so many different crystals that help you connect with the ancestors. So depending on if you want to tap into Native American or Indigenous peoples, First Peoples, Originals, Aboriginals, whatever you want to call it, there are different stones for that. For instance, I think if you look at something like Australia, certain Aboriginals, there might be a stronger connection with opal. There might be a stronger connection if you're looking at the northern UK. I've talked about this before, or sorry, southern, or actually anywhere in the UK. You might connect really well, or especially with Wales, with the Presley Mountains, the bluestone. There's so many stones that do lock into, and even this Lemurian crystal, talk about that if you really want to connect into Lemuria. There's so many that really help get you there, okay? All right, so when I, let's see, when I look at that too, let's see if there's anything else. No, I think I'll leave it at there for today. There's enough to kind of ponder about. And then we have the willow spirit flexibility. I think that does go without saying. We all know, like the weeping willow, how it bends over the waters. It almost touches the water sometimes. I guess it does. This reminds me of two things. My first encounter with even knowing what a weeping willow, I'm going to just call it weeping willow spirit, was when I went to the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago. There was this huge dollhouse, and I think they might still have it, by Colleen Moore's collection of this dollhouse. And they had this nighttime lighting. It was very magical looking. And in the garden, there was this weeping willow, and it actually kind of wept and dripped the water, and that just fascinated me. Also, what catches my attention with this is the willow is one of the Ogham, the Celtic tree alphabet. You might want to look into that. And also, it just reminds me of, in the original J.R.R. Tolkien books, I can't remember now if it's in The Hobbit or if it's in the Lord of the Rings books. I believe it's in The Hobbit. They talk about Tom Bombadil, and there's a scene, I believe, with a willow tree in that when they first meet that character, and it's by the stream. Okay, so that's all I'm gonna that's all I get for now. Sorry the flub-ups today. I'm a little out of my element. That also might be a message for somebody to get out of your comfort zone today and do something you wouldn't normally do, like me doing this reading on the roadside. So give it a whirl. Why not? See what happens. You might see some things with a new perspective and encounter some interesting things. All right, well, I wish you all the best. Have a gorgeous right now, beautiful day. Now we're going to go on to group 3. Group 3, give me a moment. Group 3, you've got that gorgeous, it looks like kind of like a seafoam green in that agate piece. And give me a moment to set up your cards under this unexpected setting for me today to do this. Bear with me. Let's see what you've got. You've got some beautiful cards. Actually, this comes here. Let's get it in the right order. And you have another little, I'm going to go with a little extra inspiration message today. Happiness. We had that recently. That's a beautiful card. And I'm going to put it over here. Okay? All right, so we have the Dreamer. Okay? This is from the Fairy Tarot deck, and I'm going to have to speed this through. I'm getting a call, I just realized, so I'm sorry. Group 3, you might have to go look at Group 1 and 2 if I have to cut this short. Just see if anything in here, sparks anything for you. We've got the Cardinal. She's got her little staff with a bag on it, which I think is called a dindle, something like that. Anyway, beautiful butterfly wings. A dog is even with her. And the message is, embrace your true purpose. Begin a new adventure. Trust yourself. So I love the spirit of this. Her eyes are closed. She could have zero care in the world. She's got magic emanating from her, so much so that all the animals are flocking to her and following her in support. And I really love this because it's a true demonstration that we do come here fully equipped just by being born here. We have everything we need. And if we don't, it rises up to us. We rise to the occasion. It rises up to us. The road always rises up to meet us wherever we're at and show us the way to only, bigger and better things. Off in the distance, we have this tower. But it's so funny. She doesn't even need to go to the summit and achieve greatness. She is the greatness. No other thing needed, right? Okay, now we have 42, which is also a 6, gorgeous card from the Mystical Shaman Oracle deck. This is called the Rainmaker. And actually, I'm going to read something from the book on that right now. And then we're going to actually wrap this up. And I don't know why I always get cut a little bit short on you, Group 3. It's not intended, but maybe you just don't need much. Let's look at it that way, right? Maybe you're already a little bit more along the way and don't need much to hear from me today. Anyway, all right, so the Rainmaker, this book divides things up into the essence, the invitation, and the medicine. So let's do, let's see, I'm going to do the invitation. So the Rainmaker is calling you to create something new from the elements that are already in your life. Be sure you work with what is and not with what might be or could have been. The seeds that have been silently germinating in your heart will burst forth ready for the sunlight. Do not hold back. Put all your chips on the next roll of the divine dice. Yeah, well, that's a great energy there. So no holding back. Throw your arms up in the air and wave them like you just don't care. Listen to music that moves you. Find that rhythm of life. This is me talking now. Find that rhythm in life that just lets it all flow. You know, look at that. Have no care in the world. Connect with the ground, the air, and the rhythm and the song of life. That one on the right, look at, she's just into it. And so is this one on the left in two very different ways. The one on the left, it's all colorful and sunshine and rainbows. The one on the right, she's experiencing maybe a more somber, more intense, you know, connected energy, even in with the ancestors of the past, perhaps. You might want to look at group number 1 for that. A message might be similar there for you. All right, anyway, let's keep moving. In the Sacred Forest Oracle deck, we have Dragon Power, and that is number 11, a master number, number 2. And here we've got all of the energies, you know, connecting in with the galaxies. You see the planets beyond. You see a little bit of hint of Aurora Borealis. You know, this dragon is the cosmic dragon and the sea of stars. You know, before creation, it said that there were, you know, just massive dragons involved with that. So take whatever you want from that, you know, look at whatever lore, magical aspect of it, even just as a fantastical story. It's just also, you know, the dragon is also noted in the stars with the constellation Draco. I believe it's called Draco. Correct me if I'm wrong. But it's this big curve and there's a straight line. It's usually, at least in the northern hemisphere, directly overhead, I think most of the time, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, there's a lot of wisdom there. And we're not talking about evil dragons. You know, there are good dragons and bad dragons, and good dragon energy and maybe bad dragon energy. And I use good and bad in quotes all the time, because what is good, what is bad? If we're on this planet as a play, if this is just, some call it a simulation, if you want to look at it as a big stage, and we each come and play a role, like this time around I'm going to be the mom, next time around I'll be the dad, you know, a few times around I'll be the kid. We all exchange roles. If you believe in that kind of a concept, then you know that all of this really is just like a play. So write your own script, have fun with it. If you've come in as the protagonist, great. If you've come in as the antagonist, okay, you might have to come back a few more times though until you know, balance all of that energy out. But anyway, the point is that the sky truly is the limit, in the sense that there is no limit, okay? And again, we've got some of the magical properties and feel of that orb, which could be sunlight, that could be the source, you know, the creator of all of life. And this dragon is just basking in that energy. We've got this woman, she's just totally out, you know, sleeping without a care in the world, but she knows she's got the magic of the whole universe literally at her side, watching over her and protecting her. That might be a message for somebody. Know that you're not alone. There is always something that has your back, and it's good, okay? Then we have the owl. This looks, I'm not sure which kind this is. It's reminding me of a snowy owl, though. And of course, everybody knows the snowy owl of Harry Potter. So we've got kind of this magical, mystical animal theme working in your pile, in your deck, okay? So anyway, with this owl, it's reminding me also not only of the magic, and I think it was just in the previous reading we talked about it being a being that was represented with Athena, the Greek goddess, and how she may have even, she was known to even transform, shapeshift into an owl, all that kind of stuff. We know the wisdom, the connection with the ETs perhaps. But what I'm getting off of this is I did have a snowy owl. Somebody came with some he was training some animals and came into my yard, asked if it was okay to let his baby snowy owl fly back and forth and exercise. I said, sure, and I was fascinated to see this little baby owl up close. And I noticed, though, that the baby owl would fly up. We had a swing set in the backyard, and the baby owl would land on it and look up and around very nervously every so often. I said, well, what's going on with this owl? And the trainer, the owner, said, oh, well, there's predators bigger and fly higher than them, and so they always have to kind of look up, to make sure that nothing's going to swoop down and get them. And that's also ties into the movie Avatar, the first movie, where, I don't want to give it away, so little what do I want to say? Little spoiler alert, tune off for a second if you don't want to know. But the key, one powerful line in that movie was, that the strategy of this guy to conquer, this is a whole long story. But anyway, point is this guy took a dragon type bird that could fly higher up above all the other ones so that he took a bird that flew up higher above the apex predator flying bird dragon thing in the movie. And the person said, well, you're crazy. He wanted to drop down on it to try to ride it. And they said, you're crazy. You're going to get killed. And his point was, the protagonist in the story was, that he wasn't worried about the other big apex predator seeing them, because he's like, if that thing is used to just being the apex predator, why would it ever look up? And it's true. When you're at the top of the food chain, so to speak, or whatever, you're not watching your back, you're not watching over your shoulder. So this might be a reminder to just, even if you don't know if you're like the biggest dog on the porch, you can feel it and own it and not be worried, not be stressed. Own your own power. Like this girl here, she's got it. She's not worried about anything flying above her or alongside of her, nipping at her heels. She just knows she's fully protected and she is the power. Same thing with the rainmaker. The rainmaker comes with it and brings it. Doesn't need anything from the outside to make the magic happen. And so too with this owl. You can be totally confident and strong in your senses, your own innate abilities. You can turn your head, I think it's like 270 degrees, for goodness sakes. You can look all around you and tap into that. And with that, then you take on the energy of the dragon, that can create everything, protect anything, guard anything, just is everything, tapping into that source, the universe, the creator of all of life and all things. You carry that energy around with you and that spirit. She's even got that little orb glow going on over here. She's got the orb up here. You have that within you, and there is nothing else that you need. You don't need to be looking around for anything. You just show up and you are present. All right. Well, I think that's all I'm going to say for now. Hope that meant something for somebody. When you own your power and show up like that, you got true happiness over there too. So best wishes to all. Love your Sky Panther. Bye.